We're here in Malta. I'm James Falkman. This is OCEANUS. It's the Fountaine Pajot 2022 Alegria 67 sailing catamaran. On board, and the captain, first mate and chef. Right here, we've got Captain James and Isabella. And we're in beautiful Malta. They're going to give us a tour of this amazing yacht.
We've been on board since the build, so we know a lot about her, and we've also spent a lot of time customizing her with the owner. She's MCA Cat 2 coded, so we added the extra rails on the front for safety. We also have jack lines running along the side of the vessel for when we're sailing, and we also have those on the hard top as well. We have our bowsprit with a furling spinnaker Genoa hybrid, so top down failer from North Sails, which is perfect for kind of light wind sailing downwind, and we can even get it up to 110 degrees, so a nice cruising sail. Hydraulic furling jib, And then we've also got the stay for our storm sail. So to be Cat 2 registered, we carry a storm sail as well. But if it's that windy, we're normally in port.
Right. Is there a code 0?
Not a code 0 on board, just the Berlin Spinnaker Genoa.
Okay, very good.
We had the custom-made beds for the trampolines, ergonomically designed. They were designed by the same gentleman that made the winter enclosure as well. He used to work for Porsche, making the seats.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so they're very ergonomic. I can testify for how comfy they are.
They are beautiful. They're beautiful.
We have the hot tub. So it's a jacuzzi with a hot water thermostat. So it can go up to 40 Celsius, so nice and toasty. We've got the hard cover on there as well.
That's 104 degrees for you Americans.
Oh well, you know, a bit of maths, keep people on their toes.
Absolutely.
We got a nice hard top on there as well, so it keeps that area usable, even if you don't want to use the hot tub. So we can throw some cushions, blankets on there. We have the shade, so these unscrew, and then we have some poles and the D-rings that are on the coach roof. We have one big shade that covers this entire front cockpit area, which is lovely to set up a nice environment for guests, owners. When you kind of, that midday, you maybe want to dip in the hot tub, you've had enough of the sun at the back.
Yeah. And I've seen that with the video that you have, with the shades up. Couple points here. One of the nice things about Fountaine Pajot, all their catamarans have, for the production cats, one of the highest bridge deck clearances in the industry, which is the distance between the sea level, the water, and the underbelly of the catamaran. So you get very minimal bridge deck slap. Also, around 2016, they started to tie the trampoline underneath instead of on top, so that you don't have toe stubbers, and so it's very nice. It looks nice, but it's also easy on the toes. And so you've got all the equipment there for their head sail, and you've got some capstans up here and also on the stern, so all four corners.
Yeah, so we've got 4, and then we've also added additional cleats just to make it easier to run towards them, so then there's no chafage on the actual gel coat itself, so we added those in. You've got the dolphin seats, which are always fun for guests or owners to sit on.
And below here is just storage, is that right?
Yeah, so this is where we keep all our water sports, so the e-foils, the e-bikes, the wakeboard, the subwing, all the extra lines, the inflatable fenders, so those are from Fentex, so a French company. They go up to around 6 psi, and then they deflate to be no much bigger than that, which is perfect then for storing down there when you're underway, keeping space.
Is it okay to open that up and just take a quick peek?
It's a little bit everywhere at the minute, as I said.
We're getting ready for a survey, so yeah, so tons of storage.
So we also put an extra shelf in there, so there's basically 3 big shelves down there.
Yeah, very well organized.
All the helmets, all the BAs, we've got sunbeds if we're doing a beach setup, parasols, paddleboards, kayaks, everything in there.
And then the other side is for crew.
Crew, yeah. So at the moment we run with 4 crew, so it's myself, Isabella, deckhand, and the stewardess. So this is the deck and stew cabin, which is
very lovely. Nice accommodations. Okay, nice shower curtain there. And that's fully air conditioned?
Fully air conditioned, independently operated. Again, they've got their own controls, their own 110 and 220 power in there as well.
Okay, very good.
We added more grab rails, so just for handles kind of all around the vessel. The owner and his wife, it was their first vessel, so they just wanted to make sure it was comfortable for them and their guests moving around. So there's lots of extra handles and just little things that they wanted to make it comfortable for them.
As a captain with a lot of new people on board, after the first day, do you see them holding on to the handholds?
Not as much. The first few days they're kind of a little bit, and they're doing the bum scooch, kind of trying to get forward. But they're
the bum scooch.
But they're no, they find the feet, and the nice thing about her, she's so stable. I mean, the owner's wife was not a comfortable sailor, and this season we've just done a 5-week charter with her, and we've been in 20-30 knots of wind, downwind sailing, and she's quite comfortable just reading a book up here and not noticing.
So stable. So we're looking at the mast here.
Correct.
I see a lot of things up there. Can you describe what they are for us?
Yes, so we have our KVH satellite system, we have our Garmin radar, we have our AIS receiver, we have our deck light, and when we have our radar reflector. And I don't know if you can see from where you're standing, but right at the very top of the mast we've got about a 2-meter pole with a big ball on the top, which is our lightning system. So she's got roughly around a $20,000 lightning protection system on board with EMPs in each keel. So then if we don't get struck but another vessel got struck or the water got struck near us, lightning can't come in, because 80% of your electronics are in the mast or in your captain's chart table, and all of that comes down, and the last thing you would want is to be without any of that.
Perfect explanation, thank you. And notice it's white.
Yes.
Most of the masts that come out of the factory are not white, so this is painted another extra,
Yep.
along with there's a very long list, but we're just going to touch the highlights.
Yep.
One of those highlights is this right here.
Yes.
This is an extra on both sides. You've got a gate so that when you're side 2, you can easily come on and off. You don't have to do a hurdle to get on board. Can you talk to us briefly while we're waiting for the rain to stop?
Yep.
About the MCA certification. Why is that important, and why did it cost over $100,000 to get it?
So the MCA, so the Maritime Coast Guard Agency, is the governing body of the world basically. So it's noticed by the majority of flag states, and to be Class 2 registered is one of the highest ratings that you can be. There's Class 0, Class 1 and then Class 2. It means that you can operate commercially with paying guests in 90% of the world up to 60 miles offshore. So that means that we could charter in different countries. It means that our level of safety is that much higher, which is also a good thing for charter guests but also owners. And when they're on board, our current owner, seeing it was his first vessel, that was his primary worry, bringing his family on board. I've seen he's never owned a boat before, so he wanted that extra security and level of safety. So it's things like the jack lines, it's the amount of life jackets, it's the EPIRBs, so the electronic positioning, it's the equipment that we have inside on the chart table, it's our crew certification that has to be up to that level. So there's a lot that goes into it, extra bilge pumps, alarms, that's why it costs $100,000, and we worked with the factory to be the first 67 that's ever been done to that level.
In fact, it's the first FP Fountaine Pajot catamaran ever brought to that standard. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So that this is a one of a kind for a number of reasons, but that is a really difficult thing to do, and thank you for all your efforts to get that done. Can you share with me what this is?
Yeah, so it's one of my 4 helm stations. So we have our stern helm station, we have one at the captain's table inside, and one on the port side, and one on the starboard on the flybridge. Makes it really nice when we're docking in the med. So when we're doing some stern twos, we find a lovely bay, drop the anchor, we want to tie to some trees, just make our own little private oasis. This makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the only Fountaine Pajot Alegria 67 that has 4 helm stations.
To my knowledge, yes.
Most of them have just a helm station, 2 helm stations up top.
Yeah.
But all the engine controls on the starboard side.
Correct.
So this has engine controls in 4 different places. That is very unique. Also very unique is this this tender. So this is the biggest tender you can put on the lift, and this is quite a nice lift.
So it's Highfield 460 Sport. She's
Come down a little closer to the mic. Thank you very much.
She's classified to take 9 guests. She's perfect. I mean, cruising speed 15-20 knots comfortably on the plane with guests inside. everything, we've come down. We're actually standing on our swim step extensions, which is another option that we've done. And we've also had these ladders custom made, so they're extra wide and they also lock into place. So on some of the other vessels I've worked on in the past, the ladders can have pinch points. So we actually have covers so that it'll lock over the pinch. So when the ladder's down, nothing can get trapped, no fingers, no toes.
Oh, fantastic, yeah. Yeah, very unique. There are a few 67s that have this extension, but not the ladders, and not on both sides.
Yeah.
So,
and then the reason that we had ladders put on both sides was also because we had this transom showers put on both sides as well. So whichever side's closer from swimming from the beach.
very nice.
We have these. So rather than having the electric passerelle,
okay,
seeing we've got the swim steps, we had these put in, and this is for our main passerelle, but we have different positions. So we have them on the lower step, the higher step, and the same on the other side. So then it gives us lots of options depending on how the dockage is or how high the harbour wall is when you're coming into dock.
4 different options for your passerelle. That is also a first of a kind. There is this vessel just it's just amazing, and I've seen a lot of. Saw the first 67 in the factory being made with a walkthrough with Alegria, the designer of all the Fountaine Pajot models, and this is by far the best 67 I've ever seen. So can you continue to tell me a little bit about what we're seeing, some of the equipment that you wouldn't see on other 67s?
Yeah, so you put a small, don't know if you can make it out on the camera, but a small, what looks like a little speaker in the corner. That's actually a security siren. So the whole boat's fitted out with a ghost security system, which myself and the owner have access to on our smartphones. So wherever you are in the world, you can keep an eye on the vessel. It has indication on high water alarms. We have security cameras in the engine rooms around the vessel, motion sensors, door alarms. We have a dinghy alarm. It's fully available to activate remotely as well. So say myself and the chef go off to go provisioning, we can activate it from our phones. Someone tries to come on the vessel, it alarms, it sirens, we can then look at the security cameras immediately. It's perfect.
Yeah, and you mentioned something to me when I first came on board, that you've actually set up the ghost system, full ghost system,
yeah,
to also be able to warn you if somebody's trying to commandeer the dinghy.
Yes, so we have a small attachment. So say the dinghy is on the side of the vessel on a long line, we can attach this to the dinghy, leave it on the long line. If someone comes and tries to take the dinghy, or even if the line snapped, unfortunately, the siren would go. Again, we would all get notifications. It's just that extra peace of mind.
Yeah. And then what is this little guy here?
So this is, again, another optional extra. It's one of the Garmin cameras. So for when I'm stern to-ing, or when I'm using the helm stations upstairs, I can use that if we were docking, just so I can see this back quarter, just to make it easier. So again, if we're short a crew, or my crew doesn't have the radios available, they can just hold out distance for me from the camera.
Okay, we're back, part 2 of our walkthrough with Captain James and the other Captain James. So we're gonna talk about how the shore power and our electrical system work on this boat.
Yeah, so again, with having so much option with this vessel and being coded to such a high standard, it gives us the option to charter in different parts of the world, including the Caribbean or in the Mediterranean, as we are now. So as one of the options we decided was we wanted to be able to plug into shore power wherever we are in the world. So we have both European and American shore power plugs. So we have our 220 at 50 Hertz currently plugged in, and then if we were sat in the Caribbean, we could have our 220 at 60 Hertz and 110 at 60 Hertz cable plugged into our other socket. Underneath here we have our protection system. So if for whatever reason we get a surge that would blow before anything on the vessel, then we have our trips, and then it then eventually goes to the circuit board and the inverters from there. We upgraded our inverters because we have extra refrigeration and other systems on board, but I'll let Isabella go through that with you. But we basically beefed up the inverters so they can run extra water makers, extra fridges, etc.
All the power you want. All the power you want. And so in here we've got the port generator.
Yeah, so this is our mechanical space on the port side. So we have our VOLVO D3 150 engine, which is the same on the other side. Currently 1400, 1500 hours running time. Always been serviced by Volvo technicians. We have a stamped log and record of that. We also have one of our two Barker water makers, which roughly we can make about 100 to 120 gallons an hour if we're running both, which means you can fill that hot tub all you want, shower till your heart's content.
Nice.
We have our AC chilling unit, and we have our main water tank, so our pressure, and then we have our reserve as well. So you'll see on this boat we don't just always have one, we normally always have a backup to a backup. We have our
fully redundant.
Yeah, we have our Cummins generator, and it's mirror imaged on the other side. We can operate it solo, and we could be servicing the other one, or if we need enough power to run the induction hobs, run the hot tub, run everything, we can run them in sync as well.
In sync or independent, and usually, if I'm correct, Fountaine Pajot, when they build a 67, the standard generator is usually just one, and it's a Fisher Panda.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct. So these are upgrades, and the reason that we didn't do the electric passerelle is so we could get the second one in.
Okay. And they're O&A Cummins.
Yes.
And 17K each?
17,
yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
So more than enough power for
all that you need, and then some. Very good. Thank you, Captain.
No worries.
All right, so our next item on the list is actually focused on this area here for entertainment, and also for getting out of the weather.
So we have our sunscreen, and we also have sunscreens for the side. So this material wicks away 90% of the heat, but lets 100% of the breeze through. So we have sunshades that clip all the way back on each side, and also on the back here. We have a projector screen for movie night, which lets you have...
Say that again, I'm sorry.
We have a movie screen that we put out, pops up, and it's 92 inches, and it's full smart, so you can watch your Netflix, your Disney Plus, your sporting events, your YouTube, and have a lovely movie night. The nice thing about here as well is the dining table actually is on hydraulics, so if you want to change it to a cocktail table, or you're having a movie and you want somewhere to put your popcorn.
Yeah, so that can be a nice dining table with leaves that fold out, as you can see. Huge area.
And it's also got a lovely coriander strip down the middle, so if you have any hot items, you can
there you
put
go.
them right in the middle.
Right in the middle, okay. And then for movie night, Captain James was describing an awesome movie night that I have not yet got the invite to, but I'm looking for it.
You gotta pick the movie first.
Pirates of the Caribbean? Maybe, I don't know.
Oh yeah, we've done all of the Pirates films.
Maverick. I'm a pilot, so. So yeah, so you've got this. It comes down. You put your feet up. You got the popcorn. You got actually two movie screens, because this sunscreen can act as a movie screen, but then you've got the actual dedicated movie screen that you can use. Yeah. So fantastic.
And if for whatever it's rainy and you want to watch a movie, we've got a full enclosure. So this whole back deck has got full isinglass tucked away in these grey covers, and we can deploy them in a matter of minutes. So it's nice and simple. You've just got little zips that run along, and then you've got full isinglass covers
all the way around.
All the way around.
All the way around. And I'm also noticing you've got the courtesy lights all the way around as well.
And dinghy lights, so if you're bringing the dinghy up at night, and a custom-made Oceanus light up sign that's wired into the courtesy lights. So if you want to know which boat's yours when it's sat on the dock.
That's right.
It's very extra courteous.
On and on and on. I also want to point out they thought of everything on this boat. So you've got the wind shade here.
Yep.
But then they've added two separate panels that can come down to shade you again from the sun or the wind on either side.
Yep.
So this is, again, to the nines. They've thought of everything. Underneath here, what do we have?
So it's you'll get to see Isabella's office. This is as part of mine. So this is tool locker and storage. So giant storage full of anything and everything that you could ever need or so want on a vessel.
Wow, that goes down quite deeply.
Yes.
And then back in there, is that access to
That's
anything?
accessible as well. So that's storage. So again, for MCA coding, if you were unfortunate and one of the hatches or the windows was to crack or break, which would be not very fun underway because you want to keep the water out, we have blanks for every window, and on deck 50%. So one of the big hatches, we can then board them, and we've got spares and everything to do that in there, as well as emergency cutting gear, as well as emergency tools, bilge pumps, manual bilge pumps, and also crash pumps on board, again to do with the coding.
And all of that comes with the boat.
Correct.
The only thing that doesn't come with the boat, unless you want it.
It's the guy who knows how to fit them.
That guy, and her. But there's an option for that.
Definitely. We're always open to chat to anyone. We love chatting.
And also the tender and the toys. They are sold separately, and we'll talk about. There's a lot of tenders. I mean, that's a big tender. There's a lot of toys that come along with this boat.
So as well as the water makers on board, which have charcoal filters, membranes, and get serviced regularly by myself, but also by Parker dealers, we also have our Vivo water dispenser. So that was custom added, and again, one of the reasons we added an additional inverter, because it does hot boiling water on tap, but it also filters. So you've got triple filtered desalinized water going into the tank, but then from the tank to this drinking receptacle, you've then got another 3 filters and a UV light.
Let me get this straight. So from the ocean,
Yep.
clean water, 3 filters.
Yep.
Once it's considered
Drinkable,
we
then
and
filter it 3
triple
times a day.
filtered and UV,
Yep.
you've got another 3 filters and another UV.
Yep. So this
it
is
goes
bottled
through.
water, basically.
This is
more than
purest
bottles.
water you could have.
This
On
is.
tap.
May I test that?
Yeah.
There's the test. That's fantastic.
And it just auto
And it's
fills,
cold.
auto chills.
And it's
Same
cold.
as you've got the hot water, so it's got about 1.5 liters of boiling water on standby.
Man, that's good water. Yeah, fantastic. And that's an ice maker.
Yeah, so an ice maker, and then we've got the 2 65-litre isotherm fridges and a little sink for a little wet bath.
I'm going to give a shout out to Kenny Crasco. There's your grill. For all these custom installs and designing all these extra options. I know that Kenny got excited when he looked at building this project, because I certainly got excited when I saw this project and everything that went into it. There's a lot of love went into this boat, and you know, just they spared no expense, and not just in building the boat, designing it, building it, but in maintaining her. So can you tell us a little bit about the maintenance of the
Yes,
schedule of the vessel?
so the maintenance for the vessel, we've been part of the vessel since before she was launched, so we've had a hand in making sure everything is up to that Cat 2 standard, but also up to keeping that standard. So constant maintenance, constant servicing. I do it myself, or for such as the engines, such as the generators, if we're in a port like we are now and it's coming to a large service, so 1500 hours for the engines, that's belts, that's impellers, that's full oil change, that's full filters, that's full stamp of approval from a Volvo dealer. We have those done then, but say we're out at sea and it's 200 hours later, I'll change filters, I'll change oil, and we keep a record of when we buy the oil, when we have to dispose of the oil, because again, under MARPOL regulations, we keep a log to do with when we're disposing of the oil.
If you got some questions about MARPOL, well, you can ask any one of our JFA consultants, because they're up to speed on that too. So very good. We had to deal with that with the Ionian Princess. It's
Yeah.
150-foot Christensen, and that was a lot of work.
Yes.
So we definitely appreciate what you said there, and all of that maintenance has been documented and will be available for your surveyor to see and review. So before we get into all this fun stuff, we're gonna get a little walkthrough of the galley.
So
your office, yes.
This is where all the magic happens, all the food on board, and I am the chef. And so kind of giving you a little overview of what we have. In terms of refrigeration inside, we actually have 2 under-counter freezers inside, which are fantastic. They are both Siemens. And then we also have an under-counter fridge, which is a Bosch under here. And this is great for like kind of a breakfast fridge, kind of having all your to-go pieces. And then downstairs we actually have a full fridge freezer, 60-40 split, hidden behind a little door,
It's
but
over
you'll
there
get to
a little
see
bit.
that.
And it's full size, beautiful.
It is fantastic. The amount of storage in terms of food on board is just so great. Under your feet you actually have 2 giant food storage, and then under James's feet, this is where we keep all of the plates and cups and everything that you could need.
And so that is accessible. Notice there's no little rings that you get your toe stuck on.
No,
so this is a very technical device. The boat is usually sold free, but this is $3.6 million right there. Yes. Yeah.
So we have 2 really large.
You can see how deep that goes.
Massive.
Yeah. So storage on top of storage. On top of storage.
Again, you know, we've got a full Bosch dishwasher, so this is like the full 12-place settings. You've got under the sink we've got a little bin, and then under here this is just a cleaning cupboard, and as well as the incinerator. So we have an incinerator on board for those Americans that love their incinerators. Very, very helpful, especially
disposal
when you
for those Americans that don't know what that word was. What is this?
That's the button for it.
That's the button for the incinerator.
Incinerator.
Or disposal.
Or disposal. Up here you have got the Bosch Micro Combi oven, so it's a convection oven and a microwave in one. You then also have...
That is a beautiful little machine right there.
And then you have, to match it, the Bosch pyrolytic oven. So this is actually a wonderful oven. It pyrolytically cleans itself. So that means it basically goes on a really high burn function, and it burns off all the grease and fat that you might have been cooking. So you don't actually have to use any nasty chemicals. You don't have to use anything but a nice clean cloth and just wipe out the dust.
When you're on the ocean, you want to keep those nasty chemicals out of the ocean. So that is a nice feature.
Very helpful. We also have a little isotherm 23 bottle wine fridge. So this can store all of your champagne and wine, and it can be changed the temperature to exactly how you like it.
I'm noticing that there's not 23 bottles in there.
No, there isn't.
It's hot in
That's a good thing.
Summer.
That's a good thing. What's this right here?
So inside of there, we actually have a really fun little feature. So I have a little remote for this, and this is our wonderful Samsung Smart TV, and it is 50 inches wide, and it comes up on hydraulic press.
And then it's also linked into a Denon home cinema system, which has Bose speakers surround.
Bose speakers
So it's
surround
quite nice to
sound.
hide.
Yeah. There's one there. That's the camera. There's a cover on it right now. And so you got, yeah, this is great because with this table, which is also hydraulic.
Correct.
Thank you, Ken Crasco and Yves for making this and that happen.
Yeah. It's also an extendable table for dining, so you can actually extend it.
Again, it's got a leaf, so you can make
up to, I think, 12 people.
12 people.
12 people. And so, so when you're preparing the birthday cake and candles, you can put up the TV, and then you can do it in secret in the back and then run around. So fantastic, guys! This is just beautiful, beautiful. Anything else that's unique to this 67 that is you won't find on another 67?
So one thing that I have, we did upgrade was the fans on here, which is really fantastic. These are the Cafrano Sirocco fans. These are upgraded, they're much stronger, a little bit nicer for if you did want everything open, no AC on, they just help blow the air straight through. The sides, all of these doors open really nicely, so you get a very nice indoor-outdoor feel, which is lovely.
That is one of the things that when Alegria designed this boat, he wanted you to have seamless access to the ocean. Notice there's no steps. It's one level from until you get out to here, and in the cockpit everything is one level and it's all open, and you have a 360 view of that which you're paying for, which is the ocean. Unless you want some privacy, then you've got the shades that come down, but it's just amazing open space that you get with the Alegria 67. So I noticed you got a hood too.
We do. So this is from Frankie, and we've also got the Miele induction. So this is the 4-burner Miele induction. It's fantastic for getting everything started and cooking. Really nice and quick. I also have all my pots and pans hidden behind there, and all the appliances from Sage you could ever want.
And your little
this is my own hydroponic herb garden, which I use every day. So I'm growing.
Who's that little guy?
That's our little cocktail stick guy.
Oh, very good. All right. Well, so much fun, so much to talk about. Okay.
One thing I forgot to mention when we were outside, but I've just noticed inside. This is our Starlink router. So we have Starlink Maritime on board, so no matter where you are in the world, you can always stay connected. Or like the projector, like the smart TV, it gives you the option of streaming movies, streaming sporting events, wherever you are.
Yeah, I'm gonna run out here real quick and show you where that antenna is, because it's really cool. It's the maritime antenna, and it's right there. And there's one on each side, correct?
No,
just one. This is it. Okay. Yep. All right. So just a tease for the flybridge. We'll come back to that. Down here is a guest bedroom. There's a lot of stuff in there right now for storage as they're working on the survey. And then in here in this space is a captain's cabin. It's a full bed in there, a full shower, huge shower, a little desk, and instrumentation.
More handles for safety.
Look at that.
Added.
That's red gold right there. All right.
And they go missing.
Yeah.
I just noticed something.
Yeah, we've got extra outlets on this side as well.
And notice you have both US
and European. So
European.
there's another one over here as well.
Look at that.
Which is
hidden
lovely.
away. You didn't even know it was there.
Yeah.
And then also one by the coffee station as well.
There's also
One by the coffee
ones
station.
we added in by the coffee station.
So we added extra handles on the stairwells. We added full length mirror on this side. And then,
Forgot to shave this morning. 4 o'clock.
And then we've added lots of extra hooks for towels, bathing suits. So there's lots of extra hooks in the heads as well. Lovely, bright, full-size heads. Yeah, so full-size rainfall shower with secondary handheld, really nice. Freshwater toilets, so it makes it nice and easy to keep that bow smell at bay.
Yeah. Fresh water. 5 electric freshwater heads on board.
And that's one of the major selling points of this boat, was for the current owner, was these giant windows, just to lie in bed and watch the ocean and watch the world go by.
Thank you, Kenny. There's 2 in each bedroom.
And then we've got the
Got some flow there.
recirculatory system as well. So this is on one of the light switches. So if we don't want to run the AC, or someone doesn't like AC, you can click that and it'll just move the air as well as the fans. So just by your head, which is nice. Little reading lights, controls, so USBs, European and American power sockets on both sides, so whether you want to charge your phone, your iWatch, anything like that. Tons of storage actually for a cabin of this size. So you've got all of this, and then you've got a full-size cupboard behind yourself and a full-size drawer under the bed on that side, on this one.
Oh, there we go. There's the, and it's pretty deep. Comes all the way up, right?
Yeah.
And then underneath your feet, there's actually
storage. So one of the options again that we did see when we were chartering, we have lots of linens, we have lots of extra things, because it's not just the owners on board.
Right.
And we do turnarounds. So we boarded out the bilges. So the bilges actually now are storage. So these are usable spaces. So roughly we have about 6 on this side, 7 on that side of usable storage. So that's great for guests' suitcases, extra laundry, extra towels, anything that they want to keep, and yeah, it just makes it a lot easier for us when we're on charter.
Yeah, just that's a very unique thing, because I think that's the only 67 that I've heard that has done that for storage, as far as the bilge is concerned. And then we got 2 more down here, and 1 more. We won't do this for every room, but we just wanted to share with you how much storage, and this is the smallest bedroom on the boat, how much storage is on this boat. It's phenomenal. Okay, now we're gonna go forward. Oh, we missed something. They almost didn't see it. That's your full-size Bosch refrigerator and freezer. So, and I think it opens this way. All right, nice, beautiful, practically brand new. Okay, we're going forward again. This is considered a VIP cabin.
Yeah, so this is the port forward. Again, tons of storage, tons of natural light, lovely big heads. I mean, the cabins on this boat, there isn't a bad cabin. That's the joy of it, really, whether you're in the outside, whether you're in the mid or the forward. Nice generous shower, generous heads, and it's just... It's
not a bad cabin in the whole boat like that. Okay.
Well, normally you always stick the person that you don't really like in the outside one, but it's kind of even that one's not a bad cabin because you're closer to the ocean.
So the only option for that scenario is overboard.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Or don't bring them. So again, safety equipment. On some of the vessels you'll see these were options of TVs, but again, the owner said, if I want to watch a TV, I want to watch it with my friends or family that come on board. We've got a nice big cinema screen, we've got a big TV in the saloon, or I've got the best view going in the world.
That's right.
Why do I want to sit and watch the terrible news in the world?
Most people are using their iPads anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
their tablets. Yeah.
You've got probably more entertainment at your fingertips than you ever have.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to pop on over to the owner's side for the owner's version. So come down here, take a pan this way and then this way. So there's 2 entrances to this space here. You've got the interior entrance with a door that has a latch and a secret compartment back here. And then you have the exterior entrance where you can go straight to the jacuzzi outside with a hatch of its own.
Yeah.
All right, so in this space you've got tons, I mean tons of storage and closet space for the owner. You've got places for your books.
And again, there's storage.
Additional
that was
storage. Added storage.
Yeah.
That's unique, I've never seen that before.
So again, we've got under the bed storage with lockable. So if it was an owner that decided that they wanted to charter but they want to keep some of their personal belongings on board, it's the perfect way of doing it. So then there's that much other storage in this master, in this giant wardrobe. It's perfect for charter, but you can keep some personal belongings safe and secure.
Okay. Here you got a nice desk here, and then what is this monitor for?
So that's for the Schreiber system. So all the lights, all the tanks, all the controls are through a Schreiber touchscreen system. So it's kind of a mirror image of what's in the captain's quarters and also what runs through our Garmin for sale system. At the moment we've just turned it off, so when we're on charter no one can touch anything or set anything off that they shouldn't, but it's available to have turned back on for any owner that wants to keep an eye on fuel consumption, etc.
Very good, very good.
Again, one of the features that isn't on every boat, as I mentioned, we had the lightning system, so that's our EMP, but that's also our escape hatch. So we have 4 of those on board in case of an emergency on every stairwell. So the 2 aft cabins and the 2 stairwells that you've just been up and down.
Fantastic. Very comfortable. Huge. Rain shower again.
and independent AC.
Independent AC in this space.
In that space.
Wow.
So you never get that steamy mirror when you're having a shave.
Nice.
Also outlets for when you want to dry your hair for the ladies or the gents, you know.
There you go. Yeah, very good. That's quite deep.
Yeah.
All right.
So as we said, it has VOLVO D3 engines with 4 controls on board. This is one of the main ones. We have our Garmin for sale system. We have our autopilot controls. We have our wind direction controls, our engine controls. This is one of our Shriver panels, so I can check water, fuel, turn lights on and off, etc. Or I can do it on the large screen. So these were an optional extra, and again you've got full control of your navigational systems down here. Coming along, we then have our ghost control system, so we can arm, disarm, we can sleep the system, we can put alarms on certain hatches. So say we knew we're not going to go in the water sports locker, and if the alarm goes off it means someone's in the water sports locker, we can activate that. We have our Furuno Navtex, which we need for coding, which gives us weather reports. So we do have Starlink, we all have mobile phones, we all have ways of checking the weather, but it's always nice to have a piece of kit that's designed to do it. Yeah. And that's normally found on commercial vessels, not on vessels of this size. We then come across, we have our air conditioning controls for the saloon and the galley, our Volvo Penta controls, our horn, both generator controls, so we can start them remotely from up here. And this is an HF MF long range marine radio, so we could be in the middle of the Atlantic and radio someone, or even send an email off that. So we have put capacitors on the shrouds, so that means what holds our mast up is actually now our antenna. So the signal range on that is amazing, and again we did that for our coding, so we have that as well as our standard VHF. And again, as I said, down in the engine room everything has a backup. If for whatever reason we lost power, those both have independent backup batteries with independent backup battery chargers, so I can turn 2 switches and we have 2 separate backup communication systems, as well as all our other coded radios.
Fantastic. As a pilot and as a captain with those redundant systems, when you're out in the middle of the ocean and everything else fails, you know you're going to be safe. You know you're going to be able to contact somebody and let them know what's going on in any situation. That's fantastic. With all that said, and the very technical, and thank you for all that, but what our viewers want to know is, what is this thing?
Oh, that's the only thing that makes me wake up in the morning. That's our Dura Z10 coffee machine. So that makes 32 types of different coffee, hot and cold. So whether you want an iced latte or you want a flat white, it's perfect. Bean to cup, automatic, big touchscreen, and again, as everything is now, you can control it from an app. So an app. So if I wanted to take lots of orders of coffee, I can go to the table, take the iPad, take all of that, and the machine starts doing it.
It's pretty nice.
Bean to cup using your app on your cell phone, and it makes 32 types of coffee, hot or cold. That is
to any strength as well.
Yeah. And of course, it's got to be close to the captain's table. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely, and the owner's suite. Yes.
Yes.
Well, it's the best way to wake up, that smell of bacon and coffee.
Yes.
One thing I didn't mention that isn't on view is we also have a satellite phone, which is rigged to our KVH. Again, a backup to the backup. It's not a dedicated satellite phone in this case of that you could take it with you in a life craft, but if you're wanting weather reports, if you're needing to communicate with anyone, you can use the KVH satellite as a satellite phone. So we have a receiver that's just tucked away in a cabinet there.
Nice, nice. So thank you for opening the door. This is one of the features that I spent a lot of time with, speaking with Racoupeaiu when he designed this boat, because up till he designed this boat, he never had a pass-through door on a Fountaine Pajot or any one of his catamarans. And he said if he was going to do it, he had to do it like a mega yacht. It had to be strong. It had to be able to take the punishment of the open waters and the ocean. So this is his solution, and it is fantastic, and it is solid. You can see all the four corners of, I'm sorry, the six fixtures that when you close this and lock it, they hold that door in place, keeps the ocean out under any condition. And that is open, you get a beautiful breeze through there, along with all the other 12 fans that Kenny Carrasco designed into this vessel. You walk out here, and that is a cover to the hot tub, and it's hard top, so you can stand on it, you can walk on it, and
it's another sunbathing area. That's the joy of it. As in, we set it up. You can put drinks, play board games, play cards on it.
Yeah, it's a great space inside and on top, and this is the only Fountaine Pajot Alegria 67 that has a heating element jacuzzi, freshwater, but mind you, heating element in there. So 104 degrees, which is hotter than my hot tub at home. So it's fantastic. And so you've got all this area just to lounge and hang out with, and you got underwater lights. I mean, not underwater lights, but you've got the courtesy lights here, indirect lighting that are blue. You've got courtesy lights all around here, and then of course you've got underwater lights. And one thing the owner shared with me is that not only did he have underwater lights in the back of the boat where everybody else has, but he had them installed additional underwater lights down here, so that when you're up here at night, you can either see the stars or you can see the fish down below.
And you can operate them independently. So if you wanted to come and stargaze and you wanted to kill all the light, you could have the blue on the back, but you could have it dark on the front. You could have them both on, both off.
Thought of everything. Thought of everything. Look at the size of that cleat. Isn't that something? Very good. And then what is this compartment here?
So this is for our windlass. So our anchor control. So we added extra chain. Again, this boat might be named extra because we just kept putting more and more in. So it has 100 meters of 14mm chain and a big plow anchor. So we've anchored in the south of France in 30 meters of water quite comfortably, especially in the Med. These anchorages are a lot deeper.
He said 30 meters, not 30 feet.
Yeah.
30 meters. Yeah, big difference.
And then we have our secondary anchor, again, for coding. So lots of hidden storage again on this boat, and a full size ultra anchor.
Ultramarine. Beautiful piece of artwork right there. All right. So if that's not enough, we're going to go see the other half of the boat.
Yeah.
Which is up there on the flybridge.
We've got all our running rigging for our hybrid sail, and on this is the shrouds where we put our antenna for our high frequency
radio. All right. And then this is what is this underneath?
So that's our life raft. So 12 person Cat C coded Plastimo life raft, just about to go for service.
Okay.
So again, we're basically getting everything brought up to as new. So we're getting all the fire extinguishers checked, regassed, we're getting the life rafts done, we're getting the life jackets done, we're getting the engines done, the generators. So this time in Malta, we're basically spending it just making sure that everything's as it was as it left the factory.
That's amazing. That's a pretty penny too.
Yes. We've actually put the isinglass down so you can see what it looks like. So this is fully enclosed. Again, it means this space can be used no matter what weather or if the vessel's moving. So she sailed across the Atlantic twice perfectly. She can handle lots of things because of this, as in crew can be comfortable. We did 600 miles last week from Athens to Malta, and it's a usable space. We put the cushions down, but you keep this up, it keeps it nice and warm, keeps it protected as well. So for the lovely teak deck, it stops the salt spray, it stops the dirt, it keeps everything nice and clean. Also, with keeping everything nice and clean and dry, every pillow and every cushion on board we've got custom made covers for, so we can just wrap them quickly in case it does rain. Same as all the helm stations and all the covers. So everything normally, we've obviously got it out to show yourselves, but normally we just have everything covered at this point.
Yeah, let me describe a similar experience I had with cushions. So an 80-foot Sunreef, the owner and I, before the Miami Boat Show, had a press day, and his crew had left. They had to go clear in, and so it was just he and I. It took us 4 hours to just put the cushions, install the cushions, and they had cushions everywhere, inside, in every store. It was just amazing how much we just had to find them, then we had to organize them, then we had to put them on with all the latches. And this you can do if it starts to rain, so and your guests are on board.
Yeah, I mean, the owner was on, we were just about to go through the Corinth Canal, so we were waiting for our time slot. Saw a squall coming on the radar. We had about 10-15 minutes warning. We got all this isinglass down here, all the isinglass downstairs, the seats covered here, the seats covered on the back in about 15-20 minutes. And then that means that these spaces upstairs and downstairs are still usable for guests and owners, where normally what you would have to do is all of these cushions, everything goes inside, which then makes the insides not as usable or not as comfortable for anyone.
And wet.
And you can't do it quickly, and then you've got to dry them out and then get them back out, and yeah.
Again, another one of the long list of things. I think we're at 40 list of things that no other Fountaine Pajot Alegria 67 has, and that is fully customized cushion covers for all the cushions on board, so that you can within 15 minutes have them covered, and another 15 minutes have them uncovered. That's phenomenal.
Have tracks on the back. So we also have sunshades for these bunny pads. So everyone loves the sun until it gets a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So the similar material that we used on the ones downstairs, we have these made so you could have them independent. So say yourself and your wife's there reading a book, she wants to be a sun goddess and you want to hide in the shade, you can roll yours out, roll them away. Again, at the moment we've just had them away because we're just using the isinglass, but perfect, easy to store. Again, just slide in the tracks, slide out, nice and simple. Awesome. And we also have the same material for the side, so if we take the isinglass completely off, we can have one of the sides completely shaded, so then this upstairs area is usable in the midday sun. We've got the hard top, and we're the only 67 with stainless steel supports.
You might not have heard that. The only 67 with stainless steel supports. Normally they're
powder coated.
Powder coated black.
So the owner wanted it to give that luxurious feel and match in with all the other stainless steel on board. Especially seeing the mast was chosen to be white, and the colour scheme's kind of that light grey and orange. So he wanted to keep it clean, neutral. So yeah, he opted for the stainless steel. We've got 3 solar panels at the back, which run down to my inverters down at the bottom in the starboard engine room. These give us about 10 amps on a sunny day like today. It's going to help with everything, it's not going to run everything.
Right.
So it's a nice way to keep fridges running, keep things going, especially when we're under sail and we want to turn those motors off and just hear the ripple of the water.
And notice the canoe boom.
That's canoe boom with lights, sail bag.
And painted white.
Hydronet sail, so that means it's got dynamo woven into it, so it's a much lighter, stronger sail than normally comes as standard. She sails roughly at about half the wind speed comfortably. Again, with the big head sail or with the furl Ingenica, we comfortably sit 8 to 10 knots, and that's a lovely cruising speed. We don't need to do much more than that because it's a cruising catamaran, it's not a racing boat.
Yeah. So half the wind speed on a 67. That is amazing. So a couple things going on here. We've got this is just an amazing command center. I love this helm. This is one of 4 helms on board, and they all have power controls, which usually this is the only helm station on a 67 that normally has power controls. So you've got them on 4 different places on board this boat. 2 here and 2 below. What else do we have here?
So we have our side power bow thruster control. So this is for our starboard side bow thruster. So if we are docking and it's a little bit windier, we can use that to just give us a little hand. But we also, again, another option that we added was to add a remote control. So we added a remote control side power controller. So if we were docking, I can walk around the vessel and control the bow thruster. We have our quick time anchor control, so we can drop the anchor from up here. We have our starts and stops for our Volvo Penta, our Volvo Penta readout, our Fusion hi-fi system, and we have 2 zones. Again, as standard, you only have one. So we have up here and downstairs, so you can have it at different volumes. So if someone wants to have a little nap downstairs or up here, you can have music playing. It's a nice way to kind of change the feeling of different zones on the boat. We have on this side again, which is completely different to any vessel, these 2 little red switches. So in a worst case scenario, if you are taking on any water in the engine room or something's in the engine room, you're up here, you're sailing at night, an alarm goes off. That is an audible alarm, but it also means that you have to physically push it to stop it. So you have alarm systems on the Garmin steering, but you have a physical audible alarm on there. So then you have to go down and check it again for regulations of the sea now. You can't just pump water over the side because it might have fuel, it might have oil, it might have anything in.
Marple.
Exactly. So we're trying to keep these beautiful waters. It's where we all want to sail and work, so we're trying to keep them nice and clean. So if there is a little bit of water in my bilge and it's sloshing around, I go and check what it is. If it is normal, I can then knock on the bilge pump. If it's not, we'll strain it, we'll dispose of it properly.
Nice. And if you forgot, with all this technology and all this room, that this is actually a sailboat, you've got this beautiful racing Garmin instrument on the mast to remind you of that. And also you can just look up and see the mast and the sails. This is just beautiful. Very comfortable.
Very comfortable. You can lose guests on board because there's that many different seating areas to sit. Talking of the mast, she had a rig check and she's certified after the last Atlantic crossing, which was May of this year. And again, we'll provide all paperwork to that effect. She sails well, but the nice thing about this display is not just for me when I'm sailing, but it's for guests, because when you're sitting in this area, you're having a drink, you've got a fridge up here and an ice maker and a wet bar. It's a full usable area, but they can enjoy it. The sails can be up, they can be under shade, but they can see the speed, they can see the depth, they can learn about it. Again,
that cuts down on half the questions you ask.
Indeed.
or ask, right? How fast are we going?
Exactly.
Right? Boom, it's right there. We're going 0.0. Well, actually,
we've got 4 electric Antel winches and full Antel blocks.
Put my hand there just so you can see the size, and these are massive. Big
2 speeds, so you've got fast and slow for trimming. We changed again the rigging system, so standard on a 67.
But if you're true sailor like I am, this is what you use right here. You just push it down. It has a stopping mechanism right there, so it doesn't have the whipping effect if somebody hits the button while you're trying to hand crank. But yeah, this is where the real sailors come in. What do we got? What are all these lines here?
So we have our halyard. So for our mainsail, we've got our spinnaker halyard, and instead of having single line reefing, which comes as standard from the factory, we opted to get it re-rigged with dual line reefing. So again, for safety and for the crew, we opted to run 2 sets of lines for the sail. So it basically means instead of just having one line at the back that pulls it down and then we have to hook something on the front, we now have a line at the front, a line at the back to bring down simultaneously. So we can basically drop the sail by 1/3, 2/3 to reduce our sail area if the wind's picking up. Again, we're not the kind of boat that's going to be sailing in 30, 40, 50 knots. We don't want to be that. That's not what this boat's designed for. It's designed for beautiful waters, nice anchorages. But if you are out, you want to be able to do that quickly and safely, and that's why we opted to do this. And it's always, an old sailor and an old instructor of mine always said, if you're thinking about reefing, you probably should have already done it.
Yes. Well said, sir. What is your background, Captain James?
So my background, I started sailing when I was 16 on tall ships, so square riggers. And then I got into sailing instructing, so teaching kids, getting them out of cities in different parts of England, bring them to the water, some have never seen the sea before, and taking them on kind of weekends away. Then I did some transatlantics on X-Round the World races, so 70-80 foots, and then decided this is the life for me. I've got to kind of find a way to do this. So I took my instructor's qualification, so I'm not just a yacht master, I'm a cruising instructor, so I can teach. So I then moved to Greece and lived in Greece and taught there. Then met my lovely partner in Greece on the beach, and
nice.
Then decided to whisk her away on a boat, and then we went and started running charter catamarans out of the Caribbean. So we ran charters out of St. Martin, Bahamas, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, BVI's, St. Thomas, and then got onto this vessel after many years of doing lots of different Fountains and different boats, lagoons, and then we've been with this vessel, like I say, from her launch. And as you mentioned earlier, it might be an option that we would stay on with the new owner, dependent on their schedule or what they're looking to do with the vessel.
Excellent. You would, and I've sailed all my life. With those credentials, you'd be the guy I'd pick too. And you forgot to mention Malta.
Yes, beautiful
Yes,
Malta
beautiful
as a
Malta.
place, and
That's-
I would recommend it to anyone to come and see.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the tour.
No worries,
Hope you enjoyed it. This is just fantastic. Of all the boats you've sailed,
Yes,
which one's your favorite?
this one.
This one, of course. There you go. That's why you should buy it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thank you. Okay, we're back. This is part 3. We're in the starboard engine compartment here in Malta. Malta, yes, Malta. Captain James is going to describe some of the equipment in the starboard engine compartment.
So we opted for full-size washer and dryer. So normally on some of the other vessels that I've worked on, and also some of the other 67s, you'll find half-size combined washer and dryer. This takes 10 kilograms of washing and 10 kilograms of drying. So we can do turnarounds on charter. Owners, guests can turn around the laundry before they're leaving. It just makes it a lot easier. The reason why we opted to put them in the engine room and not in one of the forward compartments or internally is for ease of replacement. So this is a large opening. So then if we ever need to get them out, we can actually get them out. Some of the other vessels and some of the other 67s keep them in the forward lockers, and then the deck gets put on top, so then you can't get access to them.
Right. Nice, well done.
Also, this is where my inverters are and the controls for the underwater lights. So this is the larger Phoenix inverter that I spoke of earlier that we swapped. We have our 110 inverter, we have our 3000 watt 24 volt inverter, our solar charger, and then I have a large inverter under the captain's table as well. This is our main fuse board, and we operate a Schreiber system, so we have lots of Block 9 systems around the boat, which means that we can turn things on and off remotely. They're like an electronic switch, is the easiest way to describe them. It means that if you want to turn the lights on upstairs, you don't have to go upstairs to turn them on, basically.
Nice.
We have our crash pump, so in case of an emergency, it doubles as a fire pump or an emergency bilge pump, again for coding. That's diesel operated.
That, in an emergency,
Yeah.
that is like, that's like platinum.
Yep.
Yeah, that's life-saving right there.
We have our wet spot system, so again another optional extra. So when we're hosing down, washing down the boat, keeping it nice and clean, it takes the minerals out of the water before we rinse down, so those windows don't need as much chamoising or maintenance on the stainless steel, so it just keeps all the minerals
So
off everything.
not only did he have a Porsche designer design his cushions, but then he utilizes detailer's wet spot to keep the boat looking absolutely gorgeous, like a sports car.
We have our other Cummins generator. In each engine room we have a security camera that's accessible. We have automatic fire extinguishers in each one of the engine rooms for safety, with manual and electronic deployment for coding. So that means that if the fire alarm goes off or there's a high temperature alarm, no one has to come in an engine space for safety. It's all coded, it's all heat proofed as well for the engine, and soundproofed.
Can you, I know you told me, but I don't
Yep.
know if we had it on the camera, the significance of the Phoenix inverter.
Yes, so the Phoenix inverter basically means that I can make a mesh network. So from my phone I can remotely connect to this. So as you can see, there's not many buttons or things to operate on here. but that does our AC, our water makers, our fridges. It means I can see how much power that's drawing, how much power that needs. We can control the voltage, we can turn things on, turn things off through that remotely through our phones, which means it's a lot easier. Also, you can control the power consumption of that. So if you're not on shore power or you're not on your generator, but you're using your house bank, which we have 14 AGM batteries on board, that means that we can control how much power is getting used out of those batteries and try and preserve the life of the batteries, but also keep everything running that we need to run without just having to turn things on and off.
That is a captain's dream right there. Yeah, and thank you.
No
Thank
worries.
you again.
We have our second water maker under here as well. Our other Volvo D3 engine.
Can we take a peek at the engine?
Of course. So all this folds back, so it's all accessible. We have our water maker and our D3 150 Volvo engine, our fixed firefighting system in there. We also added a fuel transfer system, so that means that no matter which side you come to dock and fuel, you can always transfer the fuel from one tank to the other, or if you want to balance the tanks or use one engine. So say you're on a long crossing or you're moving a vessel, normally you would try and keep the engine hours similar and you wouldn't normally run both. So it means a nice way that we can move fuel from one side to the other.
And that's also kind of a trick you can use when you're racing. Yeah. Shifting weight, that's great. Don't need rail meat when you got that.
No.
And then we've got, what is this?
Fire alarm. So in every space, so every cabin, every void, we have fire alarms, and we also have CO2 alarms in every stairwell as well for coding.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Captain James.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Isabella. I'll be back next time, and unfortunately I've got to run back to the airport, but otherwise we'd be feasting, and they've got some something chilling up there that I noticed. It's got condensation coming down that I wish I could drink, but I've got to get back to the Monaco Boat Show. So thank you guys for watching this video, and you know, if you're looking for the best Fountaine Pajot Alegria 67, you found it. You don't have to look any further. Thank you.